from awakening a deep soul remembering of the ancient feminine mysteries to activating our third eye and sense of vision, to strengthening our voice and clarity in our expression, to supporting us in creating a beautiful, strong, well-boundaried and well-protected container for our vision to come to life. Lapis Lazuli is a pretty amazing stone. And this week, we are going to delve deep into some conversation about the many ways it wants to show up and support us in the month of November. So welcome back, sacred friend. Thank you for joining me. I am Lori Andrus, the host of the Luminary Life Podcast. And yes, we are going to dive into the November Crystal Ally of the Month, Lapis Lazuli, and talk about some of the messages it wants to share with us as we dive into this month. Lapis is a wonderful, beautiful, deep indigo blue stone. Imagine the night sky cast with stars, a crystal clear sky with stars that are just glistening. And in some places you catch the Milky Way. Yeah, that's kind of reminiscent of looking at a beautiful piece of lapis. Lapis lazuli often comes with inclusions of pyrite and white calcite. And sometimes that white calcite can look like beautiful bands like the Milky Way. And the pyrite sparkles, the little teeny tiny pyrite inclusions sparkle and glisten like the stars in the sky. So here is a nice piece that I love to just keep on my desk. Look at that. It's just beautiful. And I wear a piece all the time on my hand. Big, beautiful piece of lapis. Oh, this stone has so much to share with us. And it's an interesting one because it has been mined for well over 6,000 years. Can you believe that? Yeah. Think back to like ancient Egypt and some of the beautiful sarcophaguses and entombments and adornments that we see featured in ancient Egypt. A lot of them have lapis inlay featured in the piece, largely because it represented a lot of different things around the connection with divinity, connection with our sense of vision and clarity. It was also a highly protective stone. It supported the space and the container of the vision that was being implemented and brought into form. It's something that has been most known to be mined in Afghanistan, but there are other places in the world where it does show up, Chile being one of the more prominent places at this time. But from what I've read, it can be found in the United States. It's largely found in Mongolia, lots of other places as you dig in. But what's fun to me is that for the most part, I've always heard about the mines in Afghanistan and how long those mines have been mined. And this stone has been brought to the surface, used in different ways. So today we're going to talk about the messages that it wants to share for this month, the ways that it's here to support us. It's showing up in a way that helps us to navigate some of the challenges and opportunities that will be present in the month of November. So for those of you who are new here, I want to just share with you a little bit about how I come up with the stone of the month, or how that is decided, because coming up with it, probably not real accurate, how it decides that it is the stone of the month. So each year at the close of the year, in the month of December, I sink in and I create a public event where we call forward a crystal forecast for the next year. So at the close of 2024, we came together as a group online virtual event, and we sank in, talked about some of the themes that are showing up. And then I did a card pull from my Oracle deck, the Stone Speak Oracle, and drew out cards for the year. And then a card for each month. So card featuring a different crystal or stone. And for 2025, the crystal allies for the year were star cluster aragonite and copper. And then the monthly stone for November being Lapis Lazuli. And if you caught some of my previous episodes from October, you'll see that the monthly stone was rhodochrosite. If you want to go back and listen to some of those, some really beautiful messages. And I think they tie into some of the things we're seeing and experiencing in this month. And it's interesting as we look back a little bit to see how rhodochrosite opened up an energy that's being carried forward this month. All right, so here we are, we're in November, and we have officially stepped into the darkest quarter of the year. This window of time where the daylight hours and minutes become shorter and shorter and shorter until it peaks at the winter solstice. And then from the winter solstice, it begins to slowly expand again. But during this window of time, we move through a period where we are being invited to sink into vision, to sink into the heartfelt dreams and longings that we carry, the desires that we want to bring forth into our lives and into the world. Often this looks like the gifts that want to be tended to and want to emerge. It looks like honoring the fears and doubts and worries and hesitations that we've had about sharing and allowing those beautiful sacred parts of self to emerge. It's also a time where we feel called to really delve in and do some honoring of self. And really consider all the different ways that this vision, this dream is asking us to create a container of space for it. And that can often look like a lot of different things. It can look like the ways that we're tending to our bodies, the ways that we are nurturing our schedule, our time, how we're managing our money, how we are organizing and keeping our space clean and supportive, where we're spending our time, who we're spending it with, the energy that we're putting out into the world. All of these things, like all of these little pieces, play an important role in bringing our vision into form. And this is, to me, I just think this is such a sacred time. And it's one where everything begins to slow down in the natural world. And as the natural world slows down, we're invited to slow down with it. Now, I know that as you're hearing this, you may feel a little bit conflicted because it's also holiday season. I feel like Halloween opens the gateway into just a cascade of holiday events. But there's an invitation to be a little bit mindful around all of that external energy and really carve out space to go within, to really listen, to be reflective. Lapis, I think there's no coincidence that it has shown up this month as an ally, because this is its magic zone. This is where it really knows how to support us. It inspires us to dream nighttime dreams, to linger within dream realms, and to dream in our own imaginings and our, drifty desire sorts of places and the playfulness that comes around dreaming. It invites us to tap into vision. As we look back at these past couple of years, vision and visioning, I feel like it's been a little bit more distant and not something that has been real central. And, I might be speaking personally, but maybe this is something you can relate to as well. I feel like all of the events and the ways we've shifted our culture over the past 5 years has significantly impacted our ability to dream and vision. And I think part of that is because the context in which vision and what reality was has shifted. And I think there are other things shifting and unfolding in the world that have created a sense of constriction and restriction. But I think Lapis showing up is a signal that our vision, our dreams, our hopes, our ideas are not only needed right now, they're essential. They're essential to the ways that humanity is going to continue to shift and evolve and grow, how it's going to be defined in the coming months and years and decades. How we are establishing a new way of being. What energy is really going to carry us forward? I think this can be a really difficult thing to access and be present with as we are informed or overly informed or super indulged in social media or news or whatever is in kind of the external like field of noise. But Lapis helps us to filter that noise. It helps us to access that the magic of the night sky, the magic of the mystery, the magic of darkness. Yeah. Within darkness, there is magic, there is light. And Lapis invites us to connect with that, to allow that to begin to amplify, to begin to emerge, to recognize the seed within light and plant that seed, to cultivate our unique gifts, to bring that seed to form. How cool is that? This stone has so many ways to support us. Okay, so the first thing I want to actually lean into, and I've brought this up already, but the biggest piece that it came like charging forward with was the ways that Lapis wants to support us in remembering the divine feminine mysteries, the ancient ones, the ones that we've only imagined, the ones that we've only heard about through mythology and in distant stories and fairy tales and ideas. But the magic and ancient divine feminine mystery that our soul knows on a profound level and carries a remembering within. It's time to allow that remembering to emerge, and to let that be fully present, to be a part of balancing the polarized energy within our society and culture, to allow it to anchor a sense of rootedness and connection of honor and reverence for the earth, for all people, for all beings on this planet. This piece is so significant, and I think we started to open that last month as we worked with Rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite really looked at the heart center. It connected us with the heart center and our ability to open that and expand with love. And from that place now, with that being an anchor, Lapis Lazuli is inviting us to tap into our third eye, to our center of vision, and to begin to open that, to see clearly. And then with that clear vision and a beautifully, wonderfully open heart of compassion and courage, to begin to create expression through our voice, expression that reflects the kindness and love of our heart and the clarity of the vision that our third eye is bringing. Now, one of the things that Lapis really brought forward in the conversation and into the energy field as I was sinking in and connecting with it for this episode, it began to really talk about filtering the noise of the world, of society, of culture, of whatever is happening around us, to be able to filter that in such a way that we can create the focused energy required for landing, grounding, activating, remembering, and allowing our vision to emerge. And to be able to filter through all the ideas and all the possibilities and land in what is right, not only for ourselves, but for the time and the way that humanity is evolving. And I think this is really key because there's an infinite number of possibilities. And sometimes we can really tap into a whole bunch and we can emerge in this, get in this energy of kind of confusion or uncertainty because there's so many things that we see. Lapis helps us to filter all of that, filter the noise of all those possibilities, and then really focus in on the one that is ours to create, and allow that to really come in. Now, this is really fun because we're looking at these last 3 months of the year, right? So last month, October, was rhodochrosite. This month, we're working with vision. Well, interestingly, in December, we're going to be working with carnelian. And carnelian's going to really support us in our creative action sort of thing. And it sounds kind of funny to have that show up in December as we're closing out the year and we're in that dark, dark month. But here's the thing. It's from the place of what is being planted and allowed to be nurtured. And when I dropped in earlier this year and ordered crystals for the crystal bundles for the quarters here, carnelian showed up as an egg, kind of a teardrop egg sort of thing with a geode. And those were the pieces that I was guided to purchase for the bundles. And I was just blown away by this because these pieces they're exquisite, absolutely exquisite. And it really landed that idea, that energy that we're moving towards, that the true sacredness of what is being nurtured, the seeds that are being planted, and what is going to be birthed in the coming years. And the role that each of us plays in bringing that into form. Yeah, so powerful, so sacred. Okay, so we've talked about the bridging to the ancient divine feminine mysteries. We talked about clarity of vision. We've spoken a bit about speaking courageously. This is one of the other things that really came through strongly. It's about allowing both the love within the heart and the clarity of vision to come together. In the Peruvian tradition, there's actually a rite of passage called the Kawak rites. And this rite of passage actually activates real connections, like bridging connection between the front and the back of the third eye, the front and the back of the heart, but also creating this bridge of connection with the heart and the third eye so that our speech comes through clearly with love and with compassion. And, I remember years ago, the first time I received that rite, Kawak meaning seers, the seers rite. This was way back in 2006. Oh my goodness, this is a long time ago. But I remember feeling like the energy around bridging vision and the heart felt so sacred and significant. And it's really, I felt that work within me. And I feel like there's a next level of what is unfolding within these couple months between the heart and between the sense of vision. And I'm very curious how this is going to play out collectively in a collective consciousness level, because it's rippling out beautifully. Okay, so the last piece on here on my list is around strengthening boundaries of wisdom, or wise boundaries. And one of the things that I have a lot of things, a lot of notes around this one. And I actually think we're going to do an individual episode just around wise boundaries and the boundaries around your vision, specifically around your vision, because this is where Lapis is really supporting us. You know, the Stones Speak Oracle message is about live your soul vision now. But there's a piece within Lapis that wants to help us define what that means to really live our vision now. If we're not being sacred guardians of our vision, how can we truly embody it? How can we truly birth it into our lives and our world? And so that means looking at where are we compromising the sanctity of the space that needs to be created for that vision to emerge. That can be, again, looking at all those pieces of money, our health, the ways that we're tending to our body, this sacred temple that we get to inhabit, ways that we are spending our time, who we're spending our time with, what we're doing in our downtime. Is it supporting our vision? The other thing is, where are we over devoting to our vision? This came through so big, and it just made me kind of chuckle, because I have found many times when a vision lands and I want to dive into it, I've dove in and then burned myself out because I didn't create a sacred boundary around that devotion. And so I think this is an interesting energy to be in awareness and relationship with as we're landing vision, especially during the season of darkness, where we're being called to actually slow down, to not charge forward, but to allow things to energetically be present and land and anchored and have a container of space created for them. This is such a sacred season, such a sacred stone, such a sacred time. And I think as we let ourselves have space to be a sacred guardian of the container for our vision, to be a sacred guardian of the vision, ooh, that feels magical, absolutely magical. So with that, I would love to hear from you what messages and insights seem to be coming forward from Lapis for you this month. Go ahead, share them in the comments down below. And if something in particular really jumped out to you, I'd love to hear what showed up, what really lit you up, and how that is inspiring you this month. This is an exciting time, a really exciting time. Let yourself breathe into it. Let yourself sink into the vision that's here for you. And let yourself embrace the beautiful, sacred, soulful, luminary path you walk. I wish you a beautiful day, sacred friend. And as always, shine brightly. Bye for now. Oh, how did I forget? One more thing. The 2026 crystal forecast. I have the date selected. I have everything ready for you to go ahead and sign up. This is a free event, my gift to you and the entire Luminary Life community. I want to invite you to join me for this event. It is on Sunday, December 7th, and we will sink in for 90 minutes. We will do a bit of just tracking and energy of the energy. We will call forward each of the monthly cards, and we'll really tap in. There's a lot of other cool little bonuses that are shared with you along the way, including a reflection ritual packet that will take you into a beautiful practice to close out 2025 with grace and ease and open up the container of space for the coming year. So drop down below, check it out. I have a link. Pop over, sign up. This is a free event. And if you're not able to join us live, don't worry. There is a replay that's always available within 24 hours. All right. Bye for now, my sacred friend.